What's going on, guys? You're chilling with Trainers Opposite, and today I'm bringing you a Pokenalysis on Cacnea in the Little Cup tier. Now, let's go ahead and dive right into it, because I'm actually pretty excited to do this one. Looking at Cacnea, its weaknesses are standard Grass-type weaknesses, Flying, Ice, Bug, Poison, Fire, and its resistances are Electric, Ground, and Grass. But while it does have an electricity... What am I trying to say? While it does have a resistance to water, it also has a pseudo-immunity to water with the hidden ability Water Absorb, which, quite frankly, is much more, I guess you could say, competitive than Sandveil, because when you put Sandveil on there, it's just kind of like, it's stupid, okay? It's like putting Double Team on a Pokemon, honestly. That's kind of how I look at it. But looking at its stats are incredible. Well, kind of incredible. It's weird, because it has just as much attack as it does special attack. It's got base 85, I think, or it might be 80. It's one of the two. Attack and special attack. Base 50 defense, 40 defenses, and 35 speed. And this is really weird, because it's so... how am I trying to say this? Its stats are so rounded that it can run a variety of sets. So instead of trying to pick out a whole bunch of them, I'm just going to give you my top examples. First off, we're just going to go on to the common set, which most people use. The common set runs a Violite or Life Orb. I would recommend a Violite because Life Orb, you cannot take hits. Honestly, you just can't take hits at all. With the ability Water Absorb and Adamant Nature, and the common spread was 236 attack, 72 defense, and 196 special defense. But, here's the thing. When you go 76 defense, it makes no difference from having, or 72 defense, I'm sorry. It makes no difference from having 72 defense and 36 defense. That extra 36 in investment changes the defense stat none. So I would recommend putting that 36 into HP because that actually makes a difference. Seriously, you can check it yourself on Showdown, that's how it works. With a moveset of Seed Bomb, Drain Punch, Sucker Punch, and Swords Dance. Obviously, Swords Dance is the key here to get up a Swords Dance with priority Sucker Punches. You can use Drain Punch to keep your HP up whenever it starts to get low, and Seed Bomb as its primary stab. But let's move on to the first custom set, which is a defensive set. The first set I have here, the defensive set, is a Violite with Water Absorb, a Relaxed or Sassy Nature, I'm going to explain that in a second, with 196 HP, for the Relaxed Nature, 196 Defense and 116 Special Defense, and for the Sassy Nature, 116 Defense and 196 Special Defense. Relaxed gives you more physical defense, while Sassy gives you more special defense. So you can go physically or specially defensive. I think I'd recommend physically defensive, but that's just experience. Go for specially defensive if you want to, feel free. With a moveset of Spikes, Synthesis or Leech Seed, Giga Drain or Drain Punch, and Sucker Punch for priority. And I want to point this out. Move 3 that says Giga Drain or Drain Punch, if you decide to run Drain Punch for that recovery, or additional recovery I should say, over Giga Drain, then I would highly recommend that you just go ahead and switch it to the minus special attack natures instead of the minus speed natures. I mean, you could do that now if you wanted, but if you're running Giga Drain and Sucker Punch, then you don't want to take away from your special attack. And something interesting, Cacnea's max attack stats, without being adamant or modest or anything, hit 18, which is fantastic for Little Cup. And even without investment, zero investment, the way this defensive set works, it hits 15 attack or special attack, and that's pretty damn good too. Sure, it's not any kind of sweeping potential, but can definitely put a dent with a stab attack. And now let's move on to the final custom set I have. I know we're going through this kind of quick, but I do have some notes here that'll make it a little bit longer. Is a Choice Scarf set with a... Sure, you can run physical too, but I just wanted to come up with this kind of set first. If you want a physical variant, just substitute appropriate moves that are physical. With a Choice Scarf, Water Absorb, and Timid Nature, with 36 HP, 236 special attack, and 236 speed. With Dark Pulse, Energy Ball for stab, and Nature Power. Or you can go Hidden Power Ice, or you can go Hidden Power Fire. Just to point out about Hidden Power Fire, if you choose to go Hidden Power Fire, you have to have 240 special attack and 240 speed, and you won't be able to get any extra HP investment. However, if you go Hidden Power Ice, you can still keep the same EV spread, but you have to go with minus attack and minus defense for those IVs. And for the final move is Switcheroo, just for obvious reasons. Trick someone your Choice Scarf if you want to cripple them. Now, let me elaborate on this set a bit. Before in the stats, I said that Cacnea was kind of slow. That's true. However, if you give max speed investment with a speed boosting nature, then you can actually make it hit 14 speed. That means that it has potential as a Choice Scarf user. So that's something very interesting to keep in mind. And just some honorable mentions here, just not going to bother with any kind of sets. Cacnea is a really versatile Pokemon in the fact that it gets so many toys. I mean, you've already seen Spikes, you've seen Synthesis, Leech Seed, Nature Power, Dark Pulses, Drain Punch, Sucker Punch, and it has so many more moves too, like Ice Punch. Its physical move pool is really big, and it's got a lot of interesting status moves. Just to name a few, it's got some toys with Encore, with Nasty Plot, Destiny Bond. There's just so many cool toys that Cacnea has, and it's such an underrated Pokemon. I would really recommend you guys try this out just to have some fun with it. You can run a multitude of sets. I haven't really seen this much versatility since like Murkrow. The only difference is Murkrow is really fast as Cacnea is not, and that's what makes a huge difference between them. But let's move on to the checks, counters, and teammates. For checks and counters, I'm going to have to say Cottonee and Croagunk. Now, I'm saying both of these together because if you look at the physical set, Cottonee and Croagunk, their typing resists every single attack on the physical set. I mean, Seed Bomb, Drain Punch, Sucker Punch, all resisted by those two alone. Sure, Cottonee won't be able to damage Cacnea much. It's like a check in name alone. The worst it can do is just Dazzling Gleam as Cacnea tries to get off some damage, or you switch out. But Croagunk can hit it up with a super effective poison move, which is very bad for Cacnea. Next we have Fletchling, which, for lack of a better term, is a predator to Cacnea, because it usually carries Overheat, it usually carries Will-O-Wisp, well, it can carry Will-O-Wisp, I know sometimes they don't run it. Its priority acrobatics seriously hurts Cacnea and can out-prioritize its Sucker Punch, and overall just gives Cacnea a bad time. Next checker counter I have here is Growlithe. Growlithe is going to be able to resist Cacnea's main stab in Seed Bomb, and with the Intimidate is going to be able to drop Cacnea's attack considerably and outspeed and hit it up with a Flamethrower, or maybe just Will-O-Wisp it. So definitely need to watch out for Growlithe since they're becoming a little bit more common with this Cacnea set. The last checker counter I could think of is Houndour. Now, Houndour is really special in that it can resist Cacnea's Sucker Punch and Seed Bombs, and can go for a super effective Fire Blast, or it can just set up kind of substitute like I used to run and set up with Nasty Plot. The difference between Houndour and Growlithe is that Cacnea does have Drain Punch, which can hit Houndour super effectively, but it can't hit Growlithe super effectively. So you do have some chance if you want to try and predict the switch in. Just be very, very careful, because Houndour can one-shot Cacnea easily. Next, let's move on to teammates. Teammates, I just want to point out, most Steel, Fire, and Mixed Water types are good to pair with Cacnea. And when I say Mixed Water types, I usually mean like Water Ghost, which I think there's only Frillish, and some Water Poison types. But moving on to specific Pokemon, Makuhita makes a pretty good teammate to Cacnea, considering with Thick Fat, it does resist Cacnea's weaknesses to Fire, Ice, and it already resists Bug. Now, it won't resist Flying, but there are no Pokemon that can actually resist all of Cacnea's weaknesses. At least not in Little Cup. I actually looked this up. Like Rotom Heat, I think, can resist all of Cacnea's weaknesses besides Poison. And Magcargo can resist all, just flat out all of Cacnea's weaknesses. But again, these aren't Little Cup Pokemon. Chinchou is also another great option to pair with Cacnea, considering it does resist its Ice, Flying, and Fire weaknesses, and is neutral to Bug and Poison. Not only that, but Chinchou is weak to Ground and Grass, which Cacnea automatically resists. Some more teammates I thought of are the fossil Pokemon that have Water-Rock typing, such as Ammonite, and Archon. Doesn't have Water-Rock typing, but it does have some typing that can help. Pokemon such as Ammonite, or maybe Binacle, because I know that he's not exactly a fossil Pokemon but still shares the same type, can resist all of Cacnea's weaknesses but the Bug typing, and even then it's neutral. And Archon can resist all of Cacnea's weaknesses except for Ice. So sure, they're both weak to Ice, but still, Archon makes a pretty good teammate if you want to try and get more hazards up besides Spikes. Then again, the same can be said for, I think, Tortuga, Kabuto, and Ammonite, who can also get up Spikes or Stealth Rocks. Well, more Ammonite for Spikes if you wanted to try and do that, but I know Kabuto and I think Tortuga get Stealth Rocks. And the final teammate I could think of is Numel. While Cacnea somewhat gains from Numel, in that it resists Fire, that's pretty much it, or Fire and Bug. Actually, I think, no, I don't know about Poison. I can't remember Poison or not off the top of my head, but I know Fire and Bug definitely, But the thing is, Nooble really benefits from Cacnea's help, considering that its only weaknesses are water and ground, which Cacnea has an immunity and a resistance to. But that's all I have for this Pokenalysis. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I really hope you'll try Cacnea out in Little Cup. It's such an underrated Pokemon that has so many toys it can use. But I'll let you make that decisions yourselves. As for me, I will see you next time.